Okay, so my digital life is a little all over the place right now. I'm moving soon. I'm starting a new endeavor, and I feel like I just need to get my life together before I embark on that journey and do all of that. So I'm starting a new little series called Build a System with Me, and basically I'll be tapping you in as my accountability buddy. For each of these videos, we're gonna be picking one area of my life that could do with a little structure. It could use a little help. We're gonna be building a little cozy, cute system in Notion to support it. I've been reading a lot more, so of course, naturally, I needed a space to track all of those readings and what's on my reading list, store all of my notes, all that good stuff. So if you've been wanting a fresh new system for the rest of the year, go ahead and stay tuned. We're gonna build it together. Hello, lovely people. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Amira, and on this channel, we talk about mindful productivity, self-care, and building soft systems that support an intentional life. And also, I started this little thing called Book of the Month, which is a free mini series that's hosted on my Substack, where I share my current reads and cozy reflections. So if you're interested in a little book club situation, feel free to check out my Substack at amirarichie.substack.com. I'll leave that link down below, and I'll also leave down below this exact system that we build together today. It'll be in my shared Notion hub, which is available for free. Just click that link down below. So without further ado, enough yapping, let's get into it. Okay, so here we are in my Notion life dash. I'm gonna go ahead and scroll down to my navigation. I'm gonna open up a new page for our book notes hub. So I'm gonna backslash page to open up this new page, and then I'm gonna get my formatting set up. I like to use serif, and for the most part, I like my pages to be full width, so I have room to work with. And then we're gonna call this book notes hub. I think that, yeah, book notes hub. And let's make my icon a little book. And then cover, I typically will either get my images from places like Canva or Pinterest, or sometimes I'll have ChatGPT give me a little original-ish image. So that's what I did. I asked ChatGPT to give me an image. So I'm gonna change my cover, upload. What I did was a combination of two things, right? So I asked ChatGPT to give me an image. It gave me sort of like an oblong, more rectangular image, like 16 by 9. So I went into Canva and blew it out a little bit in order for more of the books to show. I'm gonna reposition just a little bit. We can't really get everything, but I think it's cute. That's cute. Okay, so first things first, I wanna talk out with you a little bit what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking I wanna set up my book hub to include some goals and intentions, maybe a little cute book counter from the Widgets site that I use, indify.co. I've talked about them before on my channel. I'm sure you've seen other creators use them for widgets. Maybe a little list where I can quickly jot down a quick book rec brain dump. And then I think I'm just gonna do a book tracker with several different views. So perhaps I'll just do a main database, and then I'll do the currently reading section and an up next section. And I'll also quickly insert like the finished product so you can see what I'm trying to say. I'm gonna go ahead and start with my layout, as I like to lay out like headers and everything first, my columns, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with a heading. I like for my headings to be small-ish, so we'll do heading number 3. We'll call this reading goals. I'm gonna add a divider, and then my other heading, I'm gonna do a book rec dump, and then I'll put another divider. And what I wanna do is, I'll push this over here so we can start to make some columns on the page. Even do this before you start to type anything. If you wanted to make 2 or 3 or perhaps 4 columns, etc., you would just backslash, and then if you type in columns, it'll bring up the amount of columns you're able to add. So you can do that before you even start writing on the page. I just like to start writing and then dragging and dropping. That's how I work. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this one here, put this heading here. Maybe we'll do one more down here for our book tracker. We'll label it book tracker and notes, and then we'll do one more heading. I think I'm gonna leave it as one column because I think my database will be large. I like to italicize my headings, so I went ahead and did that. And then let's give this just a little bit more of a background. We'll make it brown to match my cover. This is cute so far, okay. For a lot of my pages, I like to create call outs. So I like to enclose a lot of my text within boxes that we call call outs. So I'll show you what I mean if you're new to Notion. Call out will give you this box and you can change this icon up if you want to. So you have icons that you can change the colors up. You can actually include emojis. You can also add your own emojis, right? So for example, this one is actually not a native emoji to the Apple system. I actually added this from Canva. I went on Canva, I have Canva Pro, just looked up a cute little circle graphic that was available through Canva Pro, added it to a square design. A feature of Canva Pro is that you can download a transparent background. And then if you add your emoji, you can upload that image here. You can name it whatever. I think I named it circle, right? So if you click on it, it gives you a little circle. So sometimes I'll add that to my pages, but I think what I want to do is stick with the icons. And since it's a little book notes hub, we will add a little brown book. I think that's cute. And then I'm gonna push this up under the category in which it belongs. And then we'll go ahead and fill out some of our goals here. Okay, so I went ahead and filled out my blog here. So my total book goal, which if you're not new here, if you're returning, you know that my goal for this year is to read at least 20 books. We'll see if that happens because it's already June. But yeah, 20 books is my goal. My genre balance, I want a cute like 60-40 fiction, nonfiction split. That's definitely flexible. And my reading intentions are that I want to slow down and savor, take book notes during and after each read, and reconnect with fiction for joy and nonfiction for growth. So I think that's good so far. I'm gonna also create another call out just to make some space for my book dump, and I'll add a few bullet points. What I also like to do when I add bullet points is because I'm kind of lazy and don't want to do the backslash bullet point each time I want to add something. So I'll also create a button that I can click to just automatically add that bullet point should I want to go back into this and brain dump some more, right? So I'll show you how to do that just in case you find use for it somewhere in your own hub. So backslash button right here. We're gonna name our button. Let's name it new book rec. We'll add a cute little icon. For my buttons, I typically like to add a little sparkle. And then important here, because I want to add my bullet point just above the button rather than below. And then we will insert the block. The block is going to be a bullet point. So backslash bulleted list. And then important here, because I don't want to add it below the button, right? I want to insert my bullet point above the button. So I'm going to change this to above the button. When I click, it'll just automatically add new bullet points. Really not a big deal because I can literally just create new bullet points manually, but I think it's cute. Just adds a little something to the page. So now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes, which is the book tracker. So how I like to frame my databases is I will typically do a table view databases that just allows me to kind of dump out all of the properties and the things I want to add within those properties. And then I'll go ahead and add different types of views depending on my preference. So we're going to go ahead and start out with a table view, backslash table view. And then the difference between this table is that this is a singular, just basic table. And this is the table view database that I actually want to choose. And then we'll go ahead and name this something simple like book tracker, right, for the database. But because this is a template that I'll share with you, we're going to just put in parentheses template, just to not confuse it with my own that I'll duplicate from this template and keep for myself. So I'm gonna hide the database title. I typically do that because it's redundant. I like headers, it looks prettier. And then I'm gonna rename this to something more specific, all books. Cute. And then I'm going to go ahead and start off with the properties that I want to add. So I'm just going to fill them in and you can watch me do that, add the little icons and whatnot, add the subsections and all that good stuff. And then we'll come back and review it. I just want to pause here for one moment to show you what I'm doing. Sometimes I like to add a little flair for my selections. And if you didn't know, the shortcut for Mac to open up the emojis is Command, Control, and Spacebar, and then it pops up and then you can choose your emoji. So just so you know, you can access the emojis straight in Notion by hitting backslash and then beginning to type in emoji. The emoji bar comes up for you, right? You can easily type in your emojis. If you wanted to, you could just type in your emojis in a blank space, copy it, and then go in here and then paste it and then start typing, right? But also, as I showed you, a really simple way to just do it in the property itself, right? Because you can't do backslash emoji here. It's not gonna come up. Again, shortcut is Command, Control, and then it pops up, and then I'll add my stars that way. So I'm gonna do 1 star all the way to 5 stars. Okay, so I think that is good enough. I'm going to walk you through just like the properties and why I decided to input them. I think it's self-explanatory, but I did utilize a little AI slash the kind of loose book hub notes that I already have in my Notion just to give me things like the genre and whatnot, just so I didn't miss anything here. Going back, we have the title, we have author. I don't know why this is a date. This should be a text, right? So now we can input the author, fiction or nonfiction, fiction series, nonfiction, all the way down. This is a single select as opposed to a multi-select. Maybe if something is like a mix, a blend of multiple genres or subgenres, I use the multi-select tool. So as you can see, you can add a bunch of them at once. I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of all these though, because it's doing a lot. And then we have the status, right? So I typically will toggle between noting the status as the actual like write status property, right? There is a status property, and then there's also the select tool. So I'm gonna keep it as the single select because there's a certain configuration that's specific to status that I don't necessarily want. And then the start date and the end date, and then I chatted a little bit about the rating, which is also a single select property. Before I go into any other views, I want to create some templates. So what I had in my last hub, because I want to really create very detailed notes, I'm going to be reading a lot of fiction, reviewing fiction, and then also nonfiction. I'm going to make specific templates for both of them, right? So I'm going to go over here, click the down arrow, and create a new template. The first one I'm going to create is a nonfiction template, and I'm going to make it serif, because I like that font. I'm going to give myself a little icon here, maybe a little open book icon, right? And then I'm gonna go ahead and create my nonfiction template. We'll go ahead and create it, and then I will review it with you. So I'm gonna pause to just explain to you what I did here. I didn't want to keep like doing the toggle thing. One thing about toggle lists, right? You can create toggle lists as a regular text size. So if you did backslash toggle, it would give you like a small toggle, right, as opposed to a heading toggle. But I wanted to make these headings a little bit bigger, but I wanted to include a toggle, right? So I did toggle heading 3. I typically like to do heading 3. And then what you can do before you start typing, or even if you do start typing and you want to copy the same thing, if you click Command D, it'll go ahead and copy that same line below. So I just did that because I didn't want to keep on doing backslash toggle heading 3 each time. I can just go ahead and run through with my headings now. Okay, I'm gonna pause here for this last bit because I had an idea. So I want to create a little database within this for quotes, but I want the quotes to show up in a specific way, which is in the gallery view. So I'll kind of show you what I mean. Okay, so let me kind of backtrack here to show you what I just did. So I obviously created all my toggles. This I kept empty. This I just wanted to add a space for the takeaway and then how I will apply this. And then overall review I kept empty. And then for my quotes, right? So I just created a database within the template just for quotes. So I just wanted my quotes when you type them in. This is a quote. They show up like this so that when I say I wanted to go back to my original book tracking page and easily find all my quotes, link another quote database to my main page, I can easily do that. I have a section for all quotes, and then I have a section for just quotes pertaining to this book. And then what you could do is literally filter by the particular book title, and then it would obviously filter just by the quotes pertaining to a particular book. And then if you wanted to, you can also have a section to look at all the quotes, or you can simply delete that section. So one thing I forgot to do though, I do want to see more properties displayed here. So let's turn on, like for all quotes, I do want to see the author, the book title, the context, page number, probably in this order, and then any personal reflections. And then of course, when you click into it, you would see all the other properties. And then in this view, I probably want to see pretty much not necessarily the book title or the author, because if I'm in this template, I already know what the title and the author are. I already know those things. So probably things like context, page number, theme, maybe some personal reflections. That is what I have for my nonfiction. So I'm gonna repeat the same thing for the fiction. And what I will literally do is duplicate. I'll say this is fiction. And then it of course doesn't duplicate the quote. So what I will do, the original database is housed in the nonfiction tab. What I will do is in the fiction template side, I will go ahead and link these databases. Link view of database, book quotes, template in the nonfiction. If you clicked on it, it would take you over to the nonfiction template. So that's where that original template is housed. And then I'm gonna hide the database title. Again, I'm gonna change, actually, I'm gonna delete this queen. And then I'm going to add the same properties here, right? This book, I'm going to hide the database title, this book. I'm also going to add all quotes. All right, so I think that works for now. Again, if it doesn't work in the future, we can always play around with it. Editing a mirror from my editing cave here. I just wanted to pop in and say, after looking at it and going in to clean it up, I decided just to leave us with a source database. So the actual database is housed under this toggle here that says book quotes database, do not delete. And I kept the linked version of the databases in the actual templates here. This arrow means it's linked. So if you do anything to the databases that are linked in the actual templates themselves, it doesn't change anything, right? So say if you deleted this book entry, right, that had the linked database, it wouldn't disturb anything. The only way that you can disturb the database itself for all of your other entries is if you deleted this source database. So it just lives here, and I think it makes it a little bit more simple and less likely for us to break anything. Also, I gave us a little blurb under here that just tells you how to filter by the appropriate book title and author for the corresponding book entry. And if the book quotes database thing doesn't work for you, just feel free to delete it, and you can go ahead and just type out your quotes, use bullet points if you wish. Notion is flexible, but I think that's cute. I think we might stick with that layout for now in terms of the templates we got going on. What I'll probably do is add 2 more views because I want to display them right in the middle here. I'm going to add a currently reading view, and I'm going to add a up next view, and that'll allow me to plop in the transparent images of my books. So it'll be a little bit more aesthetic, a little bit more visually appealing. I'm going to add those views first to my hub down there, and then we'll add them up here. Okay, I think that looks pretty cute to me. So I'm just gonna quickly go through what I did here. So I created a gallery view because with the gallery view, you can add covers and they can be displayed. So all you would do is go to the settings, click on the layout. On card preview, click on page cover rather than page content or none. If you click on one, it'll just give you the box with whatever the name of that item is. If you clicked on page content, it would show you the contents of the page. And then if you clicked on page cover, you get whatever you replaced the cover with. So that's what I did. I already had my downloads from Google. I just downloaded a transparent image of the book. And then you saw me go ahead and put the same exact linked view of the same exact database up here so I could just see it more clearly. I'll probably leave this view as like the overall book hub just to make it really easy to go in. And maybe I'll add some more categories, etc. But I want to also have a really clear view of what I'm currently reading and what's up next just for quick access. And then who knows, right? I'll play around. Maybe I'll do some more views and then I'll go ahead and post this in the shared Notion hub. It is getting late, so I want to wrap up soon, but I might play around with it, see if I want to add anything else. What I did want to do really quickly though is add maybe a widget or two and then maybe a little GIF. So I did download a GIF. I'm going to go ahead and upload it. Just a transparent GIF from Giphy that I think is really cute. So I'll be back. Hold on. How cute. It's this bookcase, this brown bookcase. It has cute earth tones. And then at the end, I don't know if you caught that, but at the end it has this little planty and this little like planter terrarium here. I think it's so cute, but I'm gonna go ahead and drag it maybe here. And I'm gonna make these large too, so you can see it a little better. I'm gonna change the card size from medium to large. Cute. I think this is cute. And then one more thing, I'm gonna go ahead and go on Indify Co. You can get free widgets. So I'm gonna log into mine and then I'm gonna look for a counter. I'll show you. Just for the sake of time, I went ahead and did it right. So what I did, I selected the counter widget. I just changed the title here to book count. You have two options here, either a plus or minus or an arrows option. I like the plus or minus. You can choose either to hide this reset button or not. I'm gonna keep it. And then I just changed the background color to a cute little brown moment, change the text color. What you can do here is go ahead and copy to your clipboard once you have all your settings. So I'll go ahead and drag a blank block to the middle. And then if you click select, or even if you just paste it, command paste, embed, there goes your widget. You can go up or down. I can reset it back to 0. So I think it's like a cute little visual. Like I said, I will probably go ahead and add a little bit more to this. Perhaps I'll add some more categories, just kind of what makes sense, because I really want this to be a detailed system, right? Because I want to be in my reading bag. So I will go ahead and post the finished version. It'll basically look like this, but probably with some more properties. I'll clean up some things that don't necessarily make sense within my templates and stuff within this database. I'll clean it up and then I'll post it in the shared Notion hub. This was really fun. I think this will honestly be my favorite system. Maybe I'll go ahead and get fancy with mine and I'll use Canva to create some actual headers, right? I'll put some cute fonts and stuff and I will embed it here. So rather than having these headers, I can show you an example. This is my Train and Thrive hub for aspiring instructors and certified instructors. As you can see here, this is a Canva element that I made and I went ahead and posted it here, right? So it has a cute font. You can post cute pictures and elements that you get from Canva. So that is an example of that. At any rate, this was so fun to make. Let me know if you like it, if you have any feedback, if you want me to add anything to it in the shared Notion hub. If I get enough feedback, I will go ahead and add it to that shared Notion hub. If you have your own thing that you want to add, feel free to add it. This was cute. Thank you. And that is our book hub. We're all set and ready to go. I'm so happy that I took the time out to do this and that we could do this together. Also, don't forget to check out my book of the month, my little monthly book club series on Substack. That will be linked in the description down below as well. And as a little sneak peek, next up in this Build a System with Me series, we are gonna get into a little creative hobby hub. I'm really excited for this because I've blabbed on here literally probably every video at this point that one of my goals was to become more involved in creative hobbies. So this is gonna help me organize all of that. Super, super excited for that video. So go ahead and subscribe, like this video, and then turn your notification bell on so you don't miss when I drop that video next. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you. And as always, don't forget to stay mindful. Bye.